So why not continue with the effect? Like you start with the snow chugger, start small, they kill the snow chugger, and then you play water elemental and just continue freezing them.
I mean, that was my thinking, but I didn't know if that was just like being stupidly focused on like one task, like at the detriment to the rest of the deck. But I mean, I was quite happy with snow chuggers and water elementals, so like totally happy to leave them in if you think that that's like a good thing.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. As like so many classes that are actually annoyed by the freezing effect. Like if you freeze the druid, he will never use the hero power to attack into anything,
Okay.
just to gain one armor.
Yeah. So what? Drop a Yeti? Do you think?
I think you can absolutely drop 180 from the list right now.
Okay.
We
So
might even cut the second one when we go forward, but playing one is fine for now.
so in terms of two and what 3 drops? Well, we have no 3 drops because our only 3 cost cards are spells. Do you think 2 mirror entities is too much, or do you think a mirror entity I put in there because I thought because I don't have certain cards, it's great to just be able to duplicate other people's cool cards.
I think mirror entity is fine. Do we need mirror images? That's the question. Because what do they even do? Like, if we start right now, the deck that you're playing seems that you want to protect yourself in the early turns. Just throw some minions to maybe trade against your opponent, and then you start playing mid-game minions like Yetis, Shredders, and you win the mid-game,
Yeah.
and you curve out into Ogre.
Yeah, so like mirror image for me, my thinking behind mirror image is that it's a pretty solid way to build up your mana worm at the start, especially like if you do people still play mana worm coin mirror image, or is that something that's too much at the start for something that's probably just going to get removed like almost straight away?
They do in a very aggressive deck where you want to follow up with like leper gnomes and the free tools as well,
Okay,
because then you protect your setup and they focus on going for face where
right.
you have to go into mirror images. But I'm not sure if we really need them. We might try removing mirror images here and just adding more minions
Okay,
instead.
I think are leper gnomes part of like the? Do you have to craft them, or are they part of like the classic? I think you might have to actually
You
craft them.
probably have to craft them, but we're not going to get the leper gnomes.
Okay.
What I would love to add is some 2-drop and some 3-drops that actually stay on board
Okay.
with good stats. So we can add this flame juggler just to test it as well.
Okay. Flame juggler. I've only got one though. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Just add one and okay. And another page like I'm also thinking about aciding swamp ooze as a possibility.
Yeah, I think at the start of this deck I had 2 of them, which is probably too much. But like one is definitely pretty good just to get rid of like a true silver champion or something like that.
Fireworks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
All right,
Um,
so I think you can add the use. We'll see what we face, and that's also one of very important part of the deck building process. You start with the deck, and then you see what you face. Like, what are the people? What are people bringing against you? And you just adjust. Like, if you face more weapon decks, then maybe we can add another ooze. If we don't face any weapon decks, then we probably cut the ooze from the deck.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's something when I'm laddering and like I've found like a net deck that like I want to play or whatever. I'll build it, I'll play it, and I'll never touch it. Like I'll never swap anything out like based on what I'm playing against or whatever. Is that something that you tend to do when you're laddering? Like
Um,
often will you go in and be like, well, I'm facing up against like this deck more often than not, so I have to put something in that like slows it down or can counter like some element of it or whatever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of similar to you. Like when I get a deck from whoever, deck that was used in the tournament, I tend to for the couple of first games, like maybe 20 first games, I just play exactly the list I got to get the feel like what the author had in mind, like what's the strategy behind the deck, to just learn how the deck works. But after those 20 games, I try to adjust. Like, hey, maybe I'm actually missing like a 5-drop, so I'm trying to fine tune the deck based on what I face and how I feel with it.
Okay, cool. Maybe I should start thinking about doing that as well, but I don't know. It's like one of those things, right? Like I guess like as you progress through Hearthstone, you get better at it. You start doing stuff like that. I think I'm still at the stage where like I'm not gonna really do that until like I can become like some sort of like really like hot shit deck builder or, you know, some sort of like cool analyst or something where like, yeah, well, the benefits of using this card over the other. Like most of the stuff that I say about Hearthstone is just stuff that I've heard before, other people who know what they're talking about saying, and I just parrot them to try to sound cool and smart, but I really don't know what I'm talking about at all,
Well,
actually.
the main idea is to have fun and to
Yeah.
not be afraid of, tweaking decks and
Yeah, yeah.
just trying your own stuff.
Yeah, true. Definitely. Um, what was I playing against the other day? I played against this mage deck that had... What was that guy with the beard? Beard guy. He's like this...
Life coach.
Yeah, it's like the card equivalent of Life Coach, I think. It's the guy that gives spell power to adjacent minions. I've never seen
Oh yeah.
anyone play it before, but this guy played it, and it was like really effective. Like he had a lot of extra spell power all of a sudden, and was just absolutely slamming me in the face. Ancient Mage, this guy.
Ancient Mage, yeah.
So it's such a weird card, right? Like, I mean, anytime I've ever gotten one of these guys, I just dust them instantly because, they're like rare, I guess. So like, they're worth a lot of dust or whatever, but I don't know. I was just surprised to see that. So he played those. He had a bunch of them. He had a full board. He had like, I think he had 2 of them out. He had Sylvanas out, and he had a couple of other things. And then he used Echo Medivh on them, and I was just like, oh my god. My brain just went into overload because I was just like, oh, I don't know what I'm playing around. I don't know what he's just taken back into his hand. He had just full hand of stuff, and it was just like, oh, it was just the worst.
Oh man, just trying out the spell damage mage possibly. I've seen it before in a shaman. Like oh man, back in the day when Strife was trying the Zeus shaman, he was
Zushan.
actually playing them and just a lot of spells.
Oh my god. I guess like the big thing now for spell and like nuking people with spell damage is like Malagos, right? Like is that the thing? Like somebody's talking about like Warlock using Malagos and like doing some crazy like 30 health combo or something with it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that...
there is this new archetype. Well, it's not that new, but it's kind of fresh. The Malygos Warlock, and it's playing with dragons, also using the new Twilight Guardian dragon. And the idea behind the deck is that you want to have Malygos in your hand, and you want to have Soulfire and Dark Bomb, and then some Torison. So
All
like
right, okay.
reduce the cost of everything by one. And then you'll be able to just deal, let's say, Dark Bomb and Soulfire is 3 and 4, 7, plus 10 from Malaga. So it's 17 points of damage on one turn. So
Wow.
you just want to get your opponent to 17 and then just burst them
Just
out
burst
of
them
nowhere.
right down, yeah. I like that. I would love to do that to somebody. I'd probably screw it up, but it'd be pretty fun. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of 2s now. So we've added
We need some
Flame.
free drops.
We need some 3 drops. So we've got Ooze and Flame Juggler that we've added to the 2s, and we need some 3 drops. Argent Horse Rider, Charge and Divine Shield.
It's interesting, but I don't think it will serve the purpose
Okay.
of the deck right now. I would be looking at something with the better stats.
Okay. So like something that costs 3 that might have like maybe 4 health or something like that.
Yeah, something
Like
like Spider Tank.
Spider Tank. Okay. I
You,
mean,
you, you don't have the Spider Tank yet, but
no.
I would be looking at crafting
At
one if
crafting one.
possible.
Okay. Do you think having 2 Azure Drakes is too much, or is that fine?
I like Azure Drakes because they provide you with the draw.
Yeah.
And then we have the 5 drops. Do we have any other 5 drops available?
5 drops. Well, I took Mukla's out. I mean, we got Grim Patron. I don't know if that's worth thinking about, especially for Mage, because we can ping them.
Yeah, we can ping them. So.
It's like really probably like massively inefficient, but it still could happen.
It
Frostwolf
would be
Warlord,
fun.
maybe? I don't know. Is Frostwolf Warlord something really that you just want to play in arena and not constructed, or?
No, yeah, it's an arena card mostly. For construct, well, I'm fine with our 5 drops. We have like a 5/5 elite turn chieftain and Azure Drake, so it's alright.
Okay.
I think it's cool. What I really would like to add is like some free drops. So, and we don't have the Spider Tank, so we'll need to add something else. Wolf Rider probably not because it's something I want to have on free. We might add Raging Worgen actually.
Raging Worgen, okay. Wind Fury and +1 attack on Enrage. So is that something that we would look to ping, or is that something that we would just like, kill a dude with and then have it Wind Fury?
It's probably like we play Raging Worgen, And then if they don't, it will mostly die. Like you play with Raging Worgen, and your opponent will be like, "Oh my God, I just need to kill it right now because if he pings it, I am in a bad spot."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And sometimes we'll be able to like, if they don't kill it, we'll be able to actually attack twice because then you attack into it to attack minion, and then you maybe go face.
Yeah.
I think Raging Worgen is fine.
And what about Shattered Sun Cleric? That's like pretty good value. I mean, it's got low health, but because it gives the 1/1, it's pretty good for like, buffing something to give it that extra damage so that it can remove something or whatever. Do you think that's like a good 3-drop or?
Yeah, I think you can add one. Absolutely. I might. Can we add even one more? That's the question.
Well, we have a lot of 4-drops. I mean, we could remove that other Yeti and then just go with Piloted Shredder and Water Elementals and then get another Shattered Sun Cleric in.
The thing is that Fireball and Polymorph is not really a 4-drop.
No.
Those will be so we have 5 in total if we don't count Fireball, because those are removal cards, and we will cast them when we have to on
Oh, yeah,
different
yeah, yeah,
turns.
yeah. Okay.
And I'm fine with the one Yeti and Shredder and Water Elemental, so we can keep that. I'm just quickly browsing through the list. Maybe we can cut one Mirror Entity for the Cleric.
Okay. What about two ogres? Is that too much, or do you think that that's okay? So we got
That should be fine.
two 6-drops. Yeah.
Ogre should be fine because
Okay.
it's like a finisher. It's the best we have for the moment.
Okay. So drop an entity and put in another cleric.
Yeah, and we'll be looking at those ogres. Like if we draw them too often, that might be too much. But I think, how many flame strikes do you have? Do you have 2 flame strikes?
Just one.
Okay, so yeah, like in the future, like when we get the second flame strike, wait, do you have to craft a flame strike?
No, no. I've got 2. I just put in 1 because I thought 2 was too many.
Oh, okay.
Should I have
Okay.
2?
Yeah, we might think about it. Maybe not for this game, but if we play like 1-2 games,
Okay.
we'll be able to swap ogre with the flame strike.
Okay. Cool. All right.
All
Do you
right.
want to try this as it is then?
Absolutely, let's give it a swing.
All right. We're gonna give it a swing. Sweet. I'm feeling good about this. I think we're ranked 20, so yeah, we are. We're like at the top of rank 20. We can't go back any further, and I've got 42 wins with that deck. I don't know how, but the grind is
Yeah,
real.
it's just that good.
Well, that's it, yeah. It's like, I wasn't being stream sniped at the time, obviously, or wall hacked, or anything, and I had just that perfect run at getting a win 42 times. Not consecutively. There was lots of losses in between, obviously, to keep me at rank 20, but I don't know, there's just something about having like a free account that you build up from scratch that I find compelling. I don't know why. Maybe I just like enjoy the pain or something, but I don't know. Should I mulligan all of these? Probably, right?
So first, you always have to see what you are playing against. We're playing versus warrior, so we have to assume that the warrior can be, well, patron or control some dragons. So then that will be it. Yeah, I think you can mulligan all of those cards. You can keep maybe Arcane Intellect.
Okay.
I'll probably just log in to spectate you as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, I had you on screen share. It's probably easier for you to actually spectate. It'll probably be a lot less laggy. I don't know. Skype screen sharing isn't the best. Should I? So I'll hang on to the Arcane Intellect just in case I don't get anything else, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess the only time, so the only time you really mulligan everything is if you have just huge cards that you have no chance of playing. I mean, in this case, we got 2 Arcane Intellects, so, and then 2 4-drops. So we're not going to be playing anything for a little while.
All right, I got in. Yeah, that's pretty unlucky to start with. We don't have that many 2-drops, so here you can just ping the face. But most of the time you're looking for the 2-drops and 1-drops as well in this deck.
Okay.
And I think you always mulligan everything which is cost is higher than free. So you can keep Arcane Intellect, but no, sometimes even you mulligan it away. Here I think. All right, so we can obviously cast Arcane Intellect to draw cards.
Yeah.
But
you could just
yeah,
play Shattered Sun on its own as well, but he's just gonna eat that, right, with the War Axe.
Yeah, so I think Arcane Intellect, sometimes it's worth to play a minion and to get it killed by a War Axe so that you actually can deal with the War Axe. But we have a much better play next turn, which is a Water Elemental. So Arcane Intellect is absolutely fine here.
Okay. So it's like thinking ahead of your next turn as well, which is important, which is something I don't tend to really do either. Like I try to play on curve, but sometimes like I'm not thinking ahead. So like I'll just play something almost blindly and it'll just get removed and I'll have no follow-up for it, sort of thing. So our turn 4 is definitely Water Elemental.
You can again think about it. Like you always have to look at the turn from the new perspective. You got some new cards, and we have some new options. But Water Elemental and Piloted Shredder seems the strongest. Now the question is, which one is better? What do you think?
Well, Piloted Shredder, he'll probably pop it because he's got a bit of armor and stuff. Water Elemental is something that maybe he might attack and then execute because of the health. But then it freezes him as well, so that he can't use his weapon next time. So that maybe I could play... Well, no, by the time I play Piloted Shredder, he'll be able to whack it again. I would probably tend towards Water Elemental this turn, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's fine. We go with the Water Elemental, and as you said, it's not that easy to remove it. And the next turn, we might just have Piloted Shredder or even Azure Drake to draw another card. Okay. And it's not that easy to remove stuff, usually.
No.
Oh, it's...
I mean, especially something with 6 health, like at this point in the game. So it looks like he's going to... Oh no, he's going to hit me in the face now. Okay.
We also got some information. When there's a slam, like at rank 20, it might be different, but when I see a slam, I'm thinking Green Page and Warrior.
Right. It could be. I mean, I've played against a couple recently, like on my EU account. They're pretty scary, but I mean, we've got Flame Strike, right? So hang on to it and we could get rid of like one round of it at least, I guess. So for me, this time I would probably Shattered Sun. I would probably Shattered Sun my water elemental and kill the armor smith just so he can't like build up a ton of armor. But I guess hitting him in the face and freezing him, making him not able to use that weapon is probably pretty good too, right? Because then I could play Piloted Shredder.
I like absolutely. I like the second play more because with this you protect your water elemental from dying.
Yeah.
And the armor smith is not doing that much on the board. It is giving him armor, but you don't care about it at this point.
In like the mid to late game, when is like a good time to use Mana Worm? Just pop it out if I'm gonna cast a spell basically and let it get value from that, or is it?
I think actually that was a good moment to use it.
Oh right, okay. Because I saw that I had the spare mana, I thought, well, maybe I could put it down, but I suppose, yeah.
It seems like versus this kind of warrior, we want to be aggressive and pressure him. Oh, a legendary card.
Yeah, look at that. It's Nat Pagel, just out for a nice fish, having a little snooze. Okay.
Didn't get a fish though.
So with the addition of polymorph, that's pretty good. But I guess against a warrior, you always want to hang on to your polymorphs in case he plays like Gromash or whatever. So should I fireball down Thaurissan? Is that like a good use of a fireball?
With this, like, what is he playing? I think I'm absolutely sure he is playing Green Patron Warrior, and Green Patron Warrior normally doesn't play Grumash, and that's something you need for Constructed, where like you just need to analyze the meta game and know what's popular and what's not. So obviously, people can surprise you, especially at those ranks.
Yeah.
But I would assume that there is 80% chance he's not running any big minions. That this is the biggest minion in his deck right now.
Right. Okay. So this is definitely a polymorph candidate.
Yeah, this is, but how do we play the polymorph? Do we play Mana Worm first? And we're like, all right, let's just polymorph this, ping the sheep, and then attack with the Water Elemental.
I was watching Kibler play yesterday, and he polymorphed. He was playing against a Paladin. He polymorphed Tyrion Fordring, right? But left the sheep up. And the sheep just just exploded. It got like Blessing of Kings twice. It got bubbled, everything, and he lost. It's like all because he didn't ping a sheep. It was pretty funny actually, but I guess it happens, especially against like a class that can just look, he's getting sick of being frozen all the time. Yeah,
with the buffs, it can happen for sure. I had the video as well. Like I had the sheep, and then I was like, I don't care about the sheep, and the guy just played Rockbiter and Bloodlust, Wind Fury, and the sheep just dealt like insane amount of damage and killed me.
Yeah. So he just played Execute. So do you think it's safe for me to play a Boulder Fist Ogre?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's the biggest minion we have.
And should I play the Mana Worm as well and try to get him to use his axe on that instead of attacking the Ogre, maybe? Or is it not really worth it?
I think you can absolutely play the Ogre here. And with Mana Worm, the thing is like, it's not about us, it's about him. He had Torison. If he has Warsong Commander and Green Patron, that will be 6 mana. And then Mana Worm is giving him another Patron.
Right, okay, so hold it back.
Yeah, we probably need to hold it back before we can actually grow it to free attack.
Okay, cool. We'll hold it back then. And we got... Did Peggle actually fish up a... Oh, yeah, you're right. Here it comes.
That Peggle is just a terrible fisherman. We didn't get any cards from it.
Didn't get any cards from him. Now he's just gonna die in a big whirlwind of hell.
He gets another execute, but if he uses another whirlwind, it might be good for us. Well, I think it's overall alright. We might keep the flame strike here, even though it seems like flame strike is you just flame strike and you clear. We can also clear with fireball and frostbolt.
Okay, so fireball and frostbolt both patrons, and keep the flame strike for the next round of patrons, which are inevitably coming, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's the play. So what we are doing here overall is we're trying to exhaust his resources.
Right.
If we counter him long enough, we'll be able to set up the board and eventually kill him.
Right. Okay. So burn these two down.
Absolutely.
And just ping him.
Job's done.
Or should we have played the Mana Worm?
Mana Worm was probably better before.
Do you think he would have attacked the Mana Worm with the... I guess he probably would have, actually.
Yeah, and Mana Worm will have free attack.
Okay.
But we will play it eventually.
Well, he's just gonna hit me in the face now instead, so maybe actually him eating that 1 damage would have been a bit better. Okay, so now he's got a 4 attack weapon with the death rattle that can kill stuff. So actually he can do 5. So Chillwind Yeti would die, but we do 4 damage to the face. Should we just draw?
I think everything dies, but we're fine with it. We won't even force the attack, because if he attacks now, he might not have the patrons.
Okay.
And what might happen, we might just play the minions, and he will not be able to do anything with them, because he needs to keep the Death Spite for the patron draw.
Right, okay. So, Drake?
Yes, because you draw a card, and it's a good body, and it's a good target for the Death Spite as well.
Yeah. See, I'd be tempted to play a piloted shredder here as well, but I don't know if that's too much. Yeah?
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. That's the best minion you have, and if he kills it, we'll have another minion drop from it.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got a choice now. Well, I mean, he's also got 9 mana and 4 cards, so he might be able to get rid of both of them anyway. But I suppose in terms of his actual weapon, he's got to choose one of those to kill, and most likely he'd probably go for... Where would he go for? Maybe like the spell damage or the shredder? It's a pretty tough choice, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people are scared of just popping shredders, right? In case like something that they don't want to deal with comes out. So like maybe he would just go for the Drake.
Yeah, it's also more damage than if you go for the shredder. So if you attack shredder, the Drake is still there, and something is gonna pop and deal damage. And if it's like a 4/1 pirate and you actually don't have 1 damage they can deal, the 4/1 pirate is still going to do 4 damage to you.
Oh my god. Okay.
So many weapons.
Second Death Spite.
Oh, congrats.
Dark Luigi. It was just too much for him.
Yeah, he couldn't handle that. He was like, oh my god.
Maybe he just didn't have the patrons on standby. And just like knew that his options were... I feel like that went really, really well, actually. Like forcing him to actually concede at that point. It's pretty good. Does that mean that we just like sort of kept our options open, played smart, and forced Dark Luigi into a corner?
Absolutely. That's one of the strategies you can use. You don't really have to kill your opponents. Sometimes you just have to outlast them, or like exhaust their resources. Attrition war.
Attrition war. I guess that's all we can really do with our deck. Well, I mean, we've got like some tempo and stuff, but it just depends what we come up against, I suppose.
You asked for it.
Okay, so Polymorph and Shredder, we probably don't really want to keep. Would we keep Raging Worgen in this case? It's a 3-drop.
Yeah, I think you can mulligan Polymorph and Shredder because we want to have the lower curve. But
Yeah.
Worgen is fine, especially because we don't have that many free drops.
Yeah. So I guess, so we hang on to the 3 because we're guaranteed to at least have something we can play on 3. In case we accidentally drew like 2 ogres or something like that as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So finally, Mana Worm is going to see some play.
Yeah, the first turn Mana Worm, I'm very comfortable with. I don't know if we'll get like much follow up, but I don't know if it really matters. I feel like Mana Worm is one of those cards where even if you never build it up, it's enough of a mind game where they'll panic and try to remove it.
Yeah. Oh wow! It's super good for us.
So we can
kill it, and that's the best thing. If you play as 2/3.
Yeah, we have no turn now anyway, right? So we just have to ping it.
Yeah.
Oh, Mana Worm doing work. Who would have thought? Normally they just die straight away. Like, I love it. When I get Mana Worm, Coin, and Mirror Image, I'm just like, oh, great. You know, it's such a strong first turn. And then inevitably it gets like Wrath or Frost Bolted or some shit. It's just gone. And then you're just stuck with 2 taunts that do nothing, basically. Worgen,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Worgen's good. But I was happy that we got Mirror Entity because Mirror Entity is so good versus Druids. Not on turn 3 because they can always play something small into it. But at some point Druid runs out of cards and he only has those big creatures.
Yeah. Big
it's a mech Druid. Like whoa.
Crazy. So if we Shattered Sun this Worgen, we can attack it. Yeah. It'll get the Wind Fury and then we get the face hit as well, right?
Yes.
Is that the play?
Yeah, that is absolutely the play.
And do we want to get Mana Worm out there as well?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Okay, great. I'm liking this. And positioning doesn't really matter, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think in this deck positioning will not matter at all, almost. Well, maybe Shredder. Shredder always matters. Like, you want to put Shredder in the middle between minions.
Okay.
Because sometimes you get like Flame Tongue Totem from the Shredder, or you get Dire Wolf Alpha.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. I never really do that. I usually just put the Shredder anywhere. I never really thought of that. It's a good point, actually. So this guy's going to take another
5 to face.
5 to face. Okay. I'm happy with that. And, and nothing else. Holy jumping. Okay, so here I could play Water Elemental, which would sort of keep his hero power at bay. But because I've got 2 things on the board, Mirror Entity might be good too, right? But maybe Mirror Entity is too soon because we want to get something bigger.
So that's really good reasoning. And I think like you probably want to have the minion and just build up advantage. And that's also, again, because of your opponent. You're playing versus Druid, and normally Druid doesn't have enough removal to deal with so many minions on board.
Right. So Water Elemental is probably the play here.
Yeah.
Or Fireball to the face. Get Mana Worm, get Mana Worm up another damage, and then just go all face.
That's pretty sick.
That's a pretty sick play too, right? I mean, I say that jokingly, but I was actually considering it at one point. Because why not, right? It's just burn them right
like, yeah. Well, like if you Fireball, like Fireball is so good as a removal card versus Druid. And what you normally want to do with tempo decks is you want to use the removal cards like Fireball on minions and keep your board. Like always have the bigger board so that your opponent has to remove your minions, and what you do is just go face with them. Oh man, those shenanigans.
Wow. Right for the face. Oh man. Well, I mean,
the power.
It's a powerful face play. Okay, so the 3-2 into the 5-3 and then play Boulder Fist is what I would do. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Look at the deck. This deck is so good.
It's really good, isn't it? I feel like the game is just like playing itself at this point. It's like everything is so crystal clear. I think for Hearthstone, I just need a coach at all times so that I can make the plays. Because when I'm left to my own devices, Gnimsh, it's a fucking disaster. It's so bad. Like some of the plays. I mean, yesterday I was playing Tempo Mage, and like I was getting to the point at like turn 3 or 4 where I was just like, I had no cards in hand. I was top decking everything and stuff. It was really bad. It's like I get carried away sometimes, I think.
There's only one reason why it works. it works because like when a coach is like watching you, people are afraid to cheat against you.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's the only thing. Like,
They incur the wrath. Yeah. Whoa. Hang on a second. He
how much damage is that?
no, I mean he. Okay, he dropped Direwolf Alpha and then he Savage Roared and ended his turn.